limitations and the caveats that are contained in this resolution, I think, adequately address all the issues that we should have leading into a resolution like this. And it's an ongoing resolution, which I think is appropriate so that states understand how many people are rolling forward with this. And as was mentioned before, I just see our government is constantly pushing the limits of the Constitution, especially with our imbalance presently in the Supreme Court. So this kind of a proposal I think is appropriate. I think it's something that we should do. I'm not sure why people hesitate to do this. It's a provision the Founding Fathers understood was very, very important. And they understood that the out-of-control government would at some point probably need to be restrained. So for us to simply make this as a resolution and recognize that this is an opportunity that we can act upon that the Founding Fathers understood might become necessary, I think it's appropriate. And it certainly has become necessary when you look at a $21 trillion debt. It's just insane that we allowed this to go on this long, and then we shrink back and we do not proceed with the Constitutional Convention even to limit that. And if you've traveled to Washington, you see the monuments to lobbying that exist in Washington, the entrenched bureaucracy that's in Washington. And the current administration might have that as their goal, to try to break that down, to try to address the issues that have hamstrung the government. But that doesn't mean they're going to accomplish that. That's a big task to try to address. And so I think it's appropriate for us to pass this kind of a resolution. I think it'd be appropriate for us to do more. But I think this resolution at least speaks to the idea that we're sick of this, we're pushing forward, and I think by demonstrating that through the states will at least put enough pressure on Congress that they'll have the wherewithal to bring some of these issues to the fore themselves. And especially with the new administration, where maybe they can get some traction and have some cohesive arguments to pursue the idea of a balanced budget or any other issues that seem to be boiling and need attention. So yeah, the idea that somehow a convention would be out of control is, I think, a very poor argument in light of the fact that even if a constitutional convention was convened and a variety of issues were addressed, you still have to get 3/4 of the states to ratify that. And you're not going to find 3/4 of the states to fall in lockstep behind wild ideas. You could certainly find several that would, but not 3/4. So I think this is appropriate. I think it's long overdue that the states become emboldened and address these things. The 2 years that I've been here up to this point, this being the third, we spend so much time addressing federal rules and regulations that it makes our function here just kind of ministerial to make sure that we function around the dictates and demands of the federal government. And it's time for us to address those things and to demonstrate that the states still have a role to play in the United States. So I'd urge your passage. Thank you.
I just met like the kindest, most welcoming people who have made me feel empowered.